Welcome to the Drunk Turkey Show. I'm your host, Daniel J. Alongside with me, as always, Jaime G and Big Blue. Happy New Year's. This is our New Year's special, so to speak. Today, we're talking about Bryan Kohberger and what he did after the incident. But before we get into that, Jaime, how you doing? Happy Merry, Happy, Happy New Year's Eve.
Yeah, Christmas was maybe a week ago, but
Been
anyway,
drinking since.
right? That's I think that's what it is. No, man, I'm here spending time with my family. Getting ready to pop some fireworks, even though they're hell of expensive. But
Oh
yeah,
my God.
burning money away.
Mm.
No, I hear you. I hear you. What about you,
Oh
Big Blue?
yeah,
How you doing that?
same thing, man. I'm just enjoying a cold brewski, and I'm waiting to pop a few fireworks here and there.
Nice, nice, nice. So, like I mentioned before in the intro, we're going to be talking about Bryan Kohberger and what did he do after the incident. There's been some speculation. Did he go straight home? Did he end up going, back to his apartment? We found out. So let's read this in, get into this. This is from Newsweek. It says that basically Kohberger had attended or was attending the Washington State University, and we found out that he was expected to go back in the spring semester. So he was planning on going back had he not gotten caught or any of those things. Um, he was attending the Washington State University as a graduate student in the Department of Criminal Justice and Criminology. The distance from WSU's flagship campus in Pullman, Washington, is roughly 10 miles from where the students were found in Moscow, Idaho, according to the Seattle Times. Let's see. Now, some of Kohberger's former classmates and neighbors are speaking out about the suspect. One student in WSU's criminal justice graduate program, Ben Roberts, recalled that Kohberger had began to regularly arrive late to class after the incident. Other than that, though, Roberts didn't notice much of a change in his fellow classmate. He was starting to show up really tired, he told the Seattle Times. He's always had a he always had he'd always have to have a cup of coffee in his hand, and he kind of looked like he was riding the knife edge between worn out and completely exhausted. That's an odd way of describing
Yeah, very.
him, given the fact. I'm not pointing anything. I'm just like, that's a weird way to describe that.
Yeah, what's it called? He's probably tired because he can't
Yeah,
sleep.
man.
He can't. He has that on his mind, maybe. You know what I mean? On his conscience,
I
if
mean,
he has
that
one.
he probably is
Oh yeah,
physically tired. I mean, to do what he did, it takes a lot of force. I mean, a lot of adrenaline was going through him, but I'm pretty sure he was worn out by it. What do you think, Big Blue?
yeah, man. Your adrenaline only goes so long, and then it wears out, and then your time it's time for a nap. You get
Yeah,
tired, man.
yeah, I hear you, man. And so they're saying that he was super worn out, completely exhausted. We'll continue. It says Robert also said that he had noticed that despite being friendly, there was something kind of off about Kohberger. BK Norton, another student in the same program who took several classes with Kohberger, used similar language when speaking with the newspaper. He stated Bryan was incredibly smart and talked about things that impassioned him, but there had been something off about him, Norton said. News of Kohberger's arrest rocked WSU facility, faculty, and other community members. Professor Matthew Lovelace expressed disbelief when talking to KULR 8 and Billings, Montana news outlet. This is one of those areas where you say, I can't believe it happened here, he told the news station. Lovelace noted that the daylight saving time happened around the time of the incident, leading many students to feel nervous because everyone had to leave campus in the dark. He added that Idaho residents, where the four students were slain, has been irrevocably altered. That was the place where college kids go and have fun, and they deserve that, he said, according to KULR 8. And now things have changed. However, some of Kohberger's neighbors reported that they hadn't noticed anything unusual about him. Graduate student Andrew Chua lived in the same housing complex as the accused. If I didn't know about this issue, it's very quiet, very nice place to live, Chua told Fox News Digital. Now I'm like, maybe I should stay home. On Tuesday, Kohberger is expected to make a court appearance in Pennsylvania before getting extradited to Idaho. He's currently being held without bond. Newsweek reached out to several WSU criminal justice faculty members and additional comment. So basically, what we have there is this guy went back to went back to school. He went back as if nothing happened. Was arriving late and appeared to be tired,
Yeah.
but nobody really saw a change. Are you surprised that he went back to school? What do you think, Hannah?
No, I'm not surprised. You know, if someone did this kind of crime, they would try to do, everything that they're scheduled to do. So nothing looks out of place, and don't bring so much suspicion to themselves. But the fact that he's tired and everything is probably because all that stuff is probably going through his head. You know what I mean? He's losing sleep over it, and especially the pressure that maybe the law enforcement was putting out there. He was feeling it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when it comes down to like neighbors and the classmates, not really noticing anything unusual, it probably never does until this kind of stuff comes out. Then you're like, oh, you know what? Like now I remember he was so and so. Like he was kind of weird at that point. You know what I mean? Only when the news comes out, that's when you can start noticing the unusual things.
Right. What about you, Big Blue? You're muted. What are your thoughts
Yeah,
on
yeah.
him going back to school?
I thought that like Jaime said, he's got to go back to pretend nothing happened, so the suspicion won't be on him. But for what he did and able to go back the next day, it's crazy, man. But you never know, man. People are monsters, and they're out there.
Yeah, one thing that I've read a couple of these articles. Nobody said anything about that he looked like his hands were wrapped, or that he was cut from his hands, or scratches to his face, or any of those type of things.
Yeah.
I wonder if he was wearing some type of glove, during the incident, so that way he wouldn't cut himself.
I mean, he probably wore a long sleeve, maybe a mask, maybe I don't know. Especially like he knew, pretty much what he could take to make sure that he doesn't leave that much evidence behind. With his PhD or was it master's?
Yeah, he had a master's and a bachelor. He was working on his PhD, and so his education was very well versed in criminology. So yeah, he would know what to probably wear or not to wear. But the fact that they found some DNA, I wonder where it was from or what it was. What about you, Big Blue? What are you thinking?
Yeah, man. I wonder what's going to happen, because I saw that he waived extradition. So I wonder if they're just going to have the trials in Pennsylvania where he's at, or I'm pretty sure they're going to have to get him back to Idaho. But I don't know.
Yeah, no, they're gonna get him back to Idaho. I hadn't seen that. I know you said you saw that somewhere. Send that to me. But I hadn't seen that. And there's different laws. There's a warrant for his arrest, so they have to extradite him because he's being charged in Idaho. Yeah. But apparently, the father came out and said that there might be a connection there between Kaylee and Kohberger. They haven't brought out what that connection could be. If you guys want to, if you guys got some tips or information on that you guys have found out there, please, if you want to send it to us, if you're don't want to send it to, or if you've already sent it to the FBI or to the Moscow Police Department or Idaho Police, State Police, if you could also send us that information as well, we'll put it out here and put that information out for everybody to see. And that you can email us at drunktturkeyshow@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. Just look up the Drunk Turkey Show.
Yeah.
So let's see. Let's continue this. This is from the New York Post. This says accused Bryan Kohberger, who was normally a quiet student, seemed more animated after the November 13 incident of the 4 Idaho students, except when they were in the topic of conversation of one of his criminal justice classes. Fellow student B.K. Norton told the Post. And so, you know what? I may have read that a little faster. It says Washington State University PhD student charged in the Idaho slangs continued his studies after the incident, and even was present during class discussion on the quadruple homicide, according to the classmate. Bryan Kohberger, who was normally a quiet student, seemed more animated after the November 13th incident of the 4 Idaho students, except when there was the topic of conversation, except when they were the topic of conversation in the criminal justice classes, fellow student BK Norton told the Post. During that discussion, Kohberger, 28, remained chillingly remained quiet and deadpan, Norton recalled. Norton said that the class discussed just how the incident had taken place and how it was crazy that they had no information and that we hoped we were all safe. I don't believe we had any reaction, Norton said of Kohberger. He didn't have any reaction. We had quite a long conversation in class about it too. I don't believe I remember him commenting about it at all. So he was running late to class apparently, but while he was in class, he seemed more animated. He was more giddy, I guess, except for when the conversation came up about the incident.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's like hindsight's 2020 and things of that nature, but you don't think that these folks could have, known that he drove a white Elantra about the same year, make, and model that they're looking for? Well, then again, when did that come out? About a week or so after.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, give or take.
Yeah, so
But,
that may have been while they were out already.
yeah, but not only that, but I mean, that's like a real affordable car. You know what I mean?
That is. That
Super
is.
affordable, and so like you're gonna have a bunch everywhere. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I think the fact that he was quiet during discussions about this crime, like it just, I think he just wanted to stay quiet because he didn't want to say something that set off alarms.
Incriminate himself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Let's continue. It says Norton, who shared 4 classes with the alleged this past semester, was shocked when they learned about Kohberger's arrest. Little did we know the actor was among us, Norton said. I'm still in shock. I didn't think Bryan was capable of this, Norton said. Kohberger completed his first semester in criminal justice program earlier this month. The university said Friday. Norton said Kohberger was bright and had keen interest in forensic psychology. Norton said that they did not believe that Kohberger had decided what his doctorate dissertation would be about. You think that's what he was doing?
Could be. I mean, he was infatuated with these kind of, crimes and whatnot. You know, what I mean, trying to get people to like answer pretty much a survey to see how they felt and what they did afterwards.
Yeah. I have a friend of mine who has a PhD in psychology, and I think he was it PhD or yeah, I think it was a PhD and a master's in psychology. He used to be one of the psychology professors at the college. He ended up working with me in law enforcement for a few years, and um, it took him a while to get on the force because he had done a study while he was in college. He had done his dissertation on the effects of how can I put this 420. We'll leave it at that. On the effects of 420 and college students, right?
Yeah.
And this is while he was in college. So what he did was he stated that he had to know what it felt like to be under the influence and how it affected his class and how it affected his work. And so, it was more than just getting studies, right? It was actually becoming a member of or committing,
Yeah, hands on.
using hands on, and that way he could write his dissertation accurately. I find that you look at what his survey was not too long ago, asking about offenders and what they were feeling, what they were thinking throughout the commission of the crime, whether
Mm-hmm.
it was before. Throughout every portion, he was asking about their thoughts and feelings, like who did they choose? What were your thoughts behind it? How did you choose? When you left your home, what were your thoughts and feelings as you left? When you got there, during the commission of the crime, what were you feeling and thinking? Things of that nature. And so I find this to be pretty chilling. I mean, it was who was it? Twitchwell, Mitch Twitchwell, the one that I brought up last time, who was
Yeah.
a filmmaker and wanted to do a horror movie,
Mm-hmm.
but wanted to be so real that he ended up filming a murder. And so, um, with that being said, please hit that like and subscribe button because this is probably going to get demonetized. And to get this to go out there, guys, we need your help. We're almost to 10K. Please get us over that hump. We appreciate that. And so that's insane. I just picked up on that, that he didn't know what he was doing his dissertation about yet.
Mm-hmm.
He reminds me of that Twitchwell guy who was the film director. I have, that sticks out. Not saying that that's what it was. It could very well be that this guy may have done this before. This may not be the first time.
Yeah.
And, he may have been suppressing his urges by talking with these ex-cons through his former university.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he left and he was now in Moscow and he wasn't talking to the ex-cons, he wasn't getting that, that urge facilitated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe he turned to actually doing the thing himself again or for the first time.
Yeah.
So let's.
I mean, some of these criminals will like do crimes like this. They get almost a high out of it. You know what I mean? And
Right.
it almost comes.
Gratification.
Gratification. They almost becomes like an addiction to them.
Sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So Kohberger was arrested early Friday morning at his parents' home in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, over 2,500 miles away from where the incident occurred in Moscow, Idaho. He's being held at Monroe County Correctional Facility in Pennsylvania and will go before a judge for extradition hearing on Tuesday, according to court records. And, just talks about what he's facing. And so I'm thinking that what you eating there, Blue?
The shrimp pork kebab.
A Blue special, man. Happy New Year's, everybody.
My brother, the chef, is in town, so he's treating us.
Nice. Nice. So to wrap everything up, y'all, again, hit that like and subscribe for us, please. Ring that notification bell. You think that, this guy, he sounds like a psychopath to me.
Yeah, I mean,
to go back to school and, you know what I mean? He's kind of fitting that profile that we spoke about early on before we changed it to Jack D. And we apologize, Jack, Adam, anybody that we never really pointed the finger in that direction. We may have speculated that it was going, in that area.
I think the last video at the bar, we were kind of pointing that way, but hey, the truth came out.
It's true. And we're man enough to say when, hey, apology. We never went towards the frat house or the guys there because we looked into it and we never found anything there outside of what speculation. And so, but Jack D and Adam, our thoughts and prayers are with you guys as well. You guys are going through quite a bit.
Definitely.
So, what are your guys' final thoughts on this and on your final thoughts on this man?
Honestly, man, I'm just glad they have someone arrested because if they didn't, I have a feeling he would have done it again.
Yeah. Apparently, not only did he go back home, but he had his car serviced. I'm guessing an oil change when you're traveling, that amount of distance with his father. His father took him and to get the Elantra to get serviced on the 28th of December. He was living like normal, man. What about you, Big Blue? What are your final thoughts?
I'm glad that he's behind bars, and I want to go, listen to the case and see how the court hearings go.
I agree. Once he gets into Idaho, they're going to release the full probable cause affidavit. That's going to give us a much amount of detail into the of what the evidence is and what actually happened and what they believe happened with him and what led to his arrest. Once that does come out, we'll be going live for sure and putting that information out. And as breaking news happens as well, we'll continue to do that. Don't forget, guys, we do lives Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You don't want to miss it. You want to, some of those, we don't do it all the time, but some of those we take calls. Sometimes we bring you into the stream. So we will announce those things. Also, I encourage you to become one of our members. You'll get early access to videos. The one we put out about the survey question yesterday, members got it early. During live shows, we're going to have the live chat in slow mode. Only members don't have to oblige by those rules, and so encourage you to do so. It'll help the program out and help the channel grow. With that being said, guys, I want to say Happy New Year's to everybody. Y'all have a safe holiday. Get an Uber and Lyft if you're out there drinking. It's not worth anything else.
Yeah, definitely, man. Stay safe out there, guys.
Yeah, man. Y'all drinking, sleep where you're at, or, take an Uber, man. Y'all be safe.
Yeah. And Uber's not sponsoring us yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, have a good day. Or good night. Peace.